Hello, 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 hello. Hey, this is Warren Redlick. Thank you so much for watching. Can't tell when YouTube starts, so hey, this is Warren Redlick. Thank you so much for watching. A lot to talk about with Tesla. There's been an intense focus on a few key things that are happening right now. Hello, Tom. Hello, TPG Soldier. Two big things have happened in the last couple days. Number one, we have the earnings call coming up, which is not something that happened, it's something that's happening. So the earnings call is coming up, and everybody's freaking about what the numbers are going to be. And I think that misses what's really going to matter with the earnings call. Hey, Xander. Um, the other big thing is the FSD price dropped to $8,000. Now, a lot of people, let's start with the earnings call. Okay. A lot of people are going to focus on what are the numbers, what are the earnings per share, what's the revenue. And I think this misses what's really going to happen as Tesla stops selling cars. Did Ross actually say Tesla should fire Musk? I don't know. So what's really important in this earnings call is not some number here, some number there for the quarter. What matters for this earnings call is they just laid off or announced a layoff or effectively announced a layoff of about 10% of the staff. It's clear that Tesla is repositioning itself. This isn't just some sort of layoff. This is we are restructuring towards some significant change in the mission of the company. That's what I'm taking from what I'm seeing on X. And you're going to see the Barry Glacks and the Lost Gerbils. That's Gary Black and Ross Gerber, if you don't follow, and the Tesla Q Cats, James Cat, the Meet Karens. I mean, Meet Kevin. I mean, delete Kevin, whatever. You're going to see these voices nitpicking on numbers, and that's not. And then there's also Dan Ives, aka Dan Ives, the Wall Street analyst, the Wall Street analyst class. They're looking for certain things from Tesla. They're looking for certain things from Elon, and they're missing what's going on. What's going on is Tesla is repositioning itself. They're still like, I don't know, 90% revenues is selling cars. That's not the future of the company. So the question is Elon going to address this radical change in direction of the company? It's not really a radical change if you know how the company has been posturing itself for a while. They've been calling themselves an AI and robotics company for a while. But I think Elon is now doubling down on that. We're going to keep selling cars for now. We're going to make them as efficiently as we can. We're going to sell as many as we can. We're going to make as much money as we can within reason. But they are repositioning the company. This is my expectation of what's actually happening inside Tesla is they're not just laying off 10% of people. They are restructuring the organization of the company. This is when Xander, that's from Jeff. Jeff gave me Meet Karen. Elon does these things to sort of stress test the company. You laid 80% of the people off at X, what formerly Twitter, and somehow the website keeps running. If you don't let enough people go, if you don't feel like you need to hire somebody back, then you didn't let enough people go. You've got to stress test the system. You've got to shock the system. But also, I think this is a restructuring. We are restructuring the company towards a Robotaxi future and maybe an Optimus future, about a humanoid robotics future. That is where this company is going. If you are looking for long-term massive growth from Tesla, it's not going to come from selling cars. Because even if you sold 10 times as many cars, if your margins fall, you're not even getting a 10x. But if you sell rides, if you convert the company from a company that sells cars to a company that sells rides and a robotaxi network, where your cost works out to about 10 cents a mile and you sell rides for $1 a mile. And already only 50% of the miles are paid. So it's 20 cents a mile per paid mile. You've got an 80% margin on selling rides. And as you can drive that price of the ride down, you can massively increase the scale. And you go from, instead of like maybe a 10x in your dreams, if you can somehow get to 20, like I don't think they get to 20 million cars without going to a robotaxi world. And I think the Barry Glacks and the Lost Gerbils want Tesla to make like a two-door Model 3 and a convertible Model 3 and, make a smaller Model 3 and a bigger Model Y and just, edge around and do the BMW. We're going to make 7 different versions of the same car. And that's just not how Tesla does things. So the goal is to radically change the company, pursuing a much larger goal, which, by the way, if you want to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy, which is the company's mission, making a few more cars and selling a few more cars doesn't accelerate the transition. It keeps helping the transition going, but it's not accelerating the transition. You accelerate that transition by game-changing engineering, by coming up with radically different technology, whether it's manufacturing technology for the vehicle you're going to make. You don't just make a slight variant of the car you're already making that's selling well. You make a radically different manufacturing technology so you can make cars for much less money. Um, so that's what I think. Is Elon going to address the changes that are happening in Tesla? I think he's going to do it right off the bat. I think he's going to say right off the bat, look, this is what we're doing. We've been dancing around trying to sell cars, and we're going to keep selling cars, but we see FSD really about to cross that threshold. And it's not just Elon, because Ashok is saying it, right? The team is saying it. The other people on the team are saying it. Okay, we've really crossed a line here. And it's not that version 12 is Robotaxi. It's that version 12. It's not that the state of version 12, like this is, it is better than version 11. Let's be clear. Everything I'm saying, I haven't driven it. I'm in Thailand. There's no FSD here. I don't have a Tesla here. My Teslas are at home. Everything I'm hearing from others, and I'm seeing it from people who has historically been skeptical of FSD. The wife test. Oh, my wife hated when I drove on FSD. Now the wife thinks FSD is good, right? We're seeing some things that are changing things. And no, I'm not going to talk about Bus Dynamics Robot. We're talking about Tesla. If you look at the thumbnail, if you look at the title, we're talking about Tesla. We're not talking about other companies. I have a hankering to talk about Aptera, but that video is coming. So going, I don't know if all in is the right word, balls to the wall, going for Robotaxi, we're heading towards that moment. And it's going to take, this is the thing that Wall Street hates. It's not like we're going to see Robotaxi network go live. I don't think we're going to see Robotaxi go live in Q3, right? Or Q2. We're not seeing the Robotaxi network go live yet. But we are seeing, I think August 8th, we might get a lot of information about this Robotaxi future. But it's pretty clear we're not seeing the Robotaxi network going live in Q2. So if you're Wall Street or you're looking for, well, what are you doing for me today? And you're not getting, we're looking down the road. And he painted the picture at Autonomy Day of where this is going. And I think with the next generation vehicle platform producing that Robotaxi vehicle, it's going to be even better because the cost per my projection is that the cost per mile over the million-mile life of the vehicle, and it may be more than 1 million miles, but the cost per mile of that vehicle over 1 million miles will be in the ballpark of 10 cents a mile, amortizing the cost of the vehicle, 25. Let's see, probably cost Tesla $20,000 to make the vehicle or less. So that's 2 pennies out of 1 million miles. The energy cost, maybe it gets 6 miles per kilowatt hour. Maybe they use ultra efficient tires. They get longer life out of their tires, and they get a really good deal because they're buying them at such high volume. When you piece all those things together, I think they're going to get to a cost for the vehicle of around 10 cents a mile. Maybe better, but 10 cents a mile would be a good number because I think on Autonomy Day they were talking maybe 18 cents a mile or 15 cents a mile. So if you can deliver rides for 10 cents a mile, your miles for 10 cents a mile, your cost, and even if only 50% of miles are paid, which James Douma made the case for 70% of miles paid. I think with an optimal Robotaxi network, you're probably talking about that. But even at 50% paid miles, your cost per paid mile is 20 cents. You can sell rides at 25 cents and make a significant profit, right? So, and the average American is spending 70 cents a mile on their car. So as you bring the price of Robotaxi's rides down, which is going to take years, right? In the early days, you can't price the Robotaxi too cheap because demand will be too high and you won't have enough Robotaxis to satisfy them. So you start at $2.50 a mile. Over time, as you grow the Robotaxi network, you increase the volume of Robotaxis, and you start in the United States, maybe China, Florida, California, Texas will adopt Robotaxi quickly. Arizona, Nevada, probably 10, 20 states will adopt Robotaxi quickly. And the ride price will be, because Uber is $2.50 to $3 a mile, coming in at $2.50 to $2 a mile, you just have a very large market to fill. But as you bring the price down, you get down closer to $1 a mile. You've got the people who've got 2 DUIs on their record and bad credit, and their insurance rates are really high, and their financing costs are really high. And their cost per mile is maybe, if the average is 70 cents a mile, their cost per mile might be $1.50. And all of a sudden you get a bunch of people to switch, to go from paying $1.50 a mile to own their own car to just, I'm going to ride in a Robotaxi. And by the way, this is a really big thing for everyone's safety. If the worst drivers convert to Robotaxi first, right? The people with the 2 DUIs and the bad credit are more likely to have accidents. That's why their insurance rates are higher. If you get those people to convert first, then you're actually going to make the road safer, because you're taking the worst drivers. Probably the worst 10% of drivers are responsible for 80% of the accidents. So if you get those people off the road, and it might actually bring regular car insurance rates down too, because now you're going to have fewer accidents. Although I think we all know we can't trust car insurance companies to do the right thing. So that's the shift. That's the shift, is going to that Robotaxi world. And is Elon going to paint that picture? I don't think he's going to paint the full picture on the earnings call. I think he's going to say, this is where we're going, right? We're heading towards this world. And we've lowered the price. This is the other thing to talk about, is that they've lowered the price of FSD to $8,000, which for those of us who are early adopters, and I don't think I paid more than $8,000 for FSD. I think maybe I paid $10,000 on my Model X Plaid, but my Cybertruck order, my first Cybertruck order is $7,000. My first car with FSD, I bought it from someone, but it was probably priced around $5,000 or $6,000. But there's a lot of people who paid $10,000, $12,000, even $15,000 for FSD, and they're probably hurting right now. But the reality is, that's the world we live in. Prices go up, prices go down. You bought a car, and 6 weeks later, the car company decides to lower prices, and they do it through dealer incentives, whatever. You bought an airline ticket. There's another guy on the airline who's paying half what you're paying. It's just, that's the reality of life, and making it a big deal when Tesla does it is just missing the point. But James Earhart says, I have 2 DUIs. Do you have 2 DUIs in the last 10 years? I pay nowhere near $1.50 a mile. I'm 34, never had car payment. My car insurance is like $54 a month. Well, okay, so you might be unusual. All I can tell you is, as a car accident lawyer and as a traffic lawyer, people paid me a lot of money to get their DUI, to beat their DUI. They paid me a lot of money to lower their traffic ticket, to get their traffic ticket a speeding ticket turned into a parking ticket. You might be the exception, but you are not the entire market, right? The reality is, if you get a DUI in New York State, if you get, oh, thank you, Pop Mop. In New York State, if you get a DUI, if that Pop Mop joined the channel as a member, and I really appreciate that. Really appreciate the support. If you get a DUI in New York, your insurance rates quadruple. Not even the full DUI. I got my neighbor got a DUI. I got it reduced to a DWI. I got it reduced to a DWAI, which is not a crime. His insurance rates quadrupled for 4 years. And you can tell me, oh, that didn't happen to me. Okay, that's nice. It happens to some people. I'm from Wisconsin. We all have DUIs. I think it's something like 10% of American population has DUIs on the record. And on average, their insurance rates are higher. And people with poor credit, their insurance rates are higher. Their financing costs are higher. All these things are higher. So if you can bring the cost of a ride down to $1 a mile, there's a bunch of people. If the average is 70 cents a mile, some chunk of the market is paying more than $1 a mile for their ownership of their vehicle, whether it's DUIs or not. If you bring the price of a ride down under $1.50 a mile, and down to $1 a mile, you're going to start getting people to say, I'm not going to bother owning a car anymore. And you can still go down, and once you get to 70 cents a mile, now you've got half the market. Half the market is now in the position where they can say, I'm going to save money and time. Don't forget the time that you save when you go Robotaxi. You think it costs you time, it saves you time. If in the long run, and this is going to take millions and millions of Robotaxi vehicles out there, you're going to see the price fall to 70 cents a mile. And even on a Model 3 or Model Y that's cost maybe 15, 20 cents a mile and 40 cents a paid mile, 70 cents a mile is still very profitable, right? So you're going to see a dramatic reduction in the number of people who choose to own their own car, and a dramatic shift of people who decide, I'm going to ride in Robotaxis. And as you bring the price of the rides down further and you get below 70 cents a mile, what actually happens is you increase the total number of miles traveled, which may create traffic problems. Let's be clear. DUIs are funny. I'm sorry that Eric doesn't laugh at anything in life. Yeah, if your last DUI was 2012, it doesn't count, right? If any within the last 10 years, usually depends on the state. In New York, it's within the last 4 years. So take the bus to get my sushi tomorrow. Oh man, I just realized my local grocery store here in Thailand has specials in the evening where you get 2-for-1 sushi, and but that's neither here nor there. All right, sorry. So when you look at that future and you say, okay, Tesla's going to be delivering a future where look at it, Alojoh on X, Alojoh. His name's AJ. AJ just did this post, and I don't agree with all his numbers, but the 2.8 trillion miles traveled. It's not that far away that Tesla robotaxis are capturing a really, really large share of that market. That Tesla robotaxis are capturing a huge, huge share of miles driven, and trillions of miles driven at $1 a mile. 1 trillion miles driven at $1 a mile is $1 trillion in revenue, right? What's Tesla's revenue this quarter? 20 billion a year. Maybe they'll make 100 billion this year. How do you compare the uncertainty of what Tesla's going through now compared to all the uncertainties before 2019, like a scale from 1 to 10? Thank you, Pop Mop. Great question. So it's different. In 2018, 2017, the question was, will Tesla survive as a company? Will they be able to get Model 3 produced at scale at reasonable cost to be able to sell enough cars to pay the bills to keep the lights on? Tesla today has $30 billion on cash on hand. So that issue, like Tesla failing and going bankrupt, is out, right? That's not a concern that I have. There's two concerns that are going on right now. One, it's really, to me, more a question of when rather than if. When does Tesla solve FSD and start a Robotaxi network? It's not what about these other competitors, because nobody has the data, nobody has the compute, nobody has the cars on the road. Nobody is doing what it takes to develop FSD to the point that it needs to be able to deliver widespread robotaxis. You can do Waymo and Pockets, and at a cost too, right? Because Waymo is running it on a $150,000 car that maybe lasts 150,000 miles. So you're $1 a mile just on the cost of the vehicle, amortized over the life of the vehicle without interest, right? So Waymo can't deliver the rides at low enough prices to scale to the level necessary to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy. But Tesla robotaxis can, whether it's a Model 3 or Model Y or this next generation vehicle platform, that can accelerate the transition. So there's no concern that Tesla's going to go bankrupt. I don't think they're really expecting to go negative on cash flow. So the $30 billion is probably going to stick around. They'd have to do a lot, really do a lot to change that. I had two friends that both died in accidents from DUI drivers hitting them, so it's reasonable to think that DUIs aren't funny. People die from everything, and therefore nothing is funny. I'm very sorry that your friends died in accidents from DUI drivers hitting them. I lost a friend when I was in high school to a DUI accident. I'm sorry that nothing is funny in your life, but people die from drowning in bathtubs. Somebody falls in a pool. Is it funny or is it not funny? Some people die from that. I'm sorry that you can't laugh at anything anymore, but some of us are going to choose to laugh at life and accept that bad things are going to happen. So I keep getting diverted. Isn't that terrible? When you look at this future of, and why are we talking about whether DUIs are funny when we're talking about a radical change that's going to save lives? Can we save lives? In the last 5 years? Where'd you get that number, Design Media? Can we make life better? Can we reduce traffic deaths from 40,000 a year in the United States to 4? Can we reduce traffic deaths in the world from 1.3 million to 1,300? Can we make these changes? It's going to take years to get there, but this is where we're going to go. And along the way, we're going to clean the air. And along the way, we're going to make people's lives better because it's going to cost them less to get from point A to point B. So one of the things I wanted to talk about this video, there's a lot of talk about like India, for example. Everybody's like, oh, Tesla needs to build a gigafactory in India. And I talked about this on X. I'm going to talk about it now here. Tesla's not going to, I may be wrong, but Tesla is not going to build a vehicle gigafactory in India anytime soon. Okay, and here's the problem. The next generation vehicle factory, okay, Kevin, at least you laughed at something. The next generation vehicle factory is probably going to produce 1 million units a year. The Indian car market is 4 million units a year. Let me say that again. The Indian car market currently is 4 million units a year. The average price of a car in the Indian car market is under $10,000 a car. So the number of cars that you're going to sell over at $25,000 and up, total market, it's probably less than 400,000 units. Maybe it's less than 100,000 units. And Tesla gets 25% share. What do they sell? 25, 50,000 cars. They produce 1 million cars. They sell 25 or 50,000 in India. Where the rest of the cars go? Oh, well, they'll export them to Asia. It turns out they already have a factory in Asia that exports cars to Asia. They don't need a factory in India to export cars to Asia. They have a factory in China that can that exports cars to Asia. And they'll build a next generation vehicle factory in China where they already have all the infrastructure and all the supply chain. And the challenge of getting all that done in India is really, really hard. Right? Now, I'm going to credit Darren Young, the Singapore Tesla YouTuber, on this. I did not realize the Southeast Asian market is bigger than the Japan market. It's bigger than the India market. So build a factory in India or Malaysia. Pick your country. I would pick in Thailand or Malaysia. Maybe Vietnam. I would probably pick Thailand. I'm in Thailand right now, so maybe I'm biased. But you produce next generation vehicles in India, you produce next generation vehicles in Thailand. Thailand's a big market. Malaysia's next door, a big market. Laos and Cambodia aren't big markets, but Vietnam is. Philippines, there's a lot of market in Southeast Asia that there's favorable trade relations between Southeast Asian countries. And not to mention that people don't know this, Thailand is the second largest pickup truck market in the world. So make a pickup truck variant of the next generation vehicle, you're going to do great in Thailand. But India is just that much poorer than the rest of the world. Thailand, people have this image of Thailand as a poor country. Boy, pick up the number 1 and number 2 selling vehicles and the number 5 best-selling vehicles are Ford Ranger style pickups, the Isuzu D-Max, the Toyota Hilux, and the Ford Ranger. Smaller than the Ford F-150, and they're generally speaking over $20,000, right? That's the best-selling car. Go look up the best-selling car in India. It's probably under $10,000, but the best-selling car in Thailand is a pickup truck that's over $20,000 and doesn't even get good gas mileage. I don't think Giga Mexico's canned. Giga Mexico's just on hold. But I think that's the kind of thing, I'm going to get back to this point, that the big thing that's going to happen in this earnings call is whether Elon is going to explain what this transition that Tesla is going through is. We laid off 10,000 people, or 10% of the workforce. These are the things that we are doing to move Tesla forward into the future. And is he going to paint that story so that people understand it? Is he just going to give a few words to say we're making some changes here and we'll tell you more on August 8th? Or is he going to lay it out? And then on August 8th, is he going to relay out the Robotaxi story that he told on Autonomy Day, updated for the next generation vehicle, updated for everything that they've learned? I think that's the thing, that it doesn't solve the Wall Street problem of the damn knives, Barry Glack, short-term mentality of, but what were your numbers this quarter, or what are you going to do for me next quarter? Because they're not doing it next quarter. They're positioning the company to be able to 10x, 25x, 100x over the next 5-10 years. And that requires some really dramatic changes now that may not be that good for short-term numbers. So you are either looking to Tesla for the future, for 2030, for 2032, for 2035. If you are looking for Tesla to give you answers for Q2 or Q3 of 2024, I don't think this call is going to satisfy you. If you are, and I hear this question a lot. There was a question earlier about risk. Okay, so Prakash, there's a comment in the chat. Prakash for you says, guys, please talk the real numbers, not the hyped up numbers. US sales are terrible, so first priority is to see the growth in sales before remotely looking at other markets. No, it's not about sales at all. I mean, I think Tesla will sell more cars. They just lowered the price of the Model Y. They just lowered the price of FSD. Best-selling vehicles in India are bicycles, yeah. They just lowered the price of the cars, and they may sell more or fewer cars, but that's not, if you are a long-term investor, then how many cars they sell this quarter or next quarter is not nearly as important as how are they positioning the company for the Robotaxi world. Stockpiling 2170 batteries is probably for bots. I don't think so. Yeah, the stock is up. The stock is, look, there's this Metal Mike says Tesla stock is down almost 2% per day. today. This is the thing. If you are a long-term investor, you got to understand Tesla is not necessarily a risky stock, but it is a volatile stock. Okay, it is a volatile stock in the sense that the stock moves up and down more than other stocks. You want a stable stock right now? Buy Lucid Motors. Lucid Motors is pretty much flatlined at $2 a share, $2.50 a share. You're not seeing a lot of movement on Lucid stock anymore because no one's trading it, because basically only the Saudis own it anymore. If he says Robotaxi is the future, stock crashes. Well, okay, Robotaxi is the future. He has been saying it. He is saying it. The company is an AI and robotics company, and the stock has already crashed. So I don't know what you're talking about. Tesla has never discussed short-term goals during earnings calls, yet everyone still acts surprised when they don't. Exactly. Yeah, batteries needed for bot. That's true, Zoltan. Batteries needed for Optimus are insignificant. It's 2.3 kilowatt hours per bot. If you did 1 million bots, that would be 2.3 gigawatt hours. That's less than half. That's about half a quarter for Megapack. So nothing. Yahoo Finance says Tesla going to $80. Yeah, I mean, look, the stock. This is my point. The stock is going to go up. The stock is going to go down. Now maybe certain investors get the story. Now, I think the other big thing going on is we have a vote coming up in June on Elon's compensation package, on I think Kimball Musk and maybe James Murdoch as directors of the company. This vote could be critical. This is actually the thing that's given me nightmares. If you want to know like the risk side of the equation, is like the real risk is that something happens, like the vote goes against Elon, like Elon doesn't get his compensation package, and a majority of shareholders decide that Elon shouldn't be paid for 6 or 7 years of work, and for delivering massive economic growth, massive company growth, really like making Tesla a major car company. If that vote goes south, and I think there's a real risk that that vote goes south, then I think there's a chance Elon leaves the company. And if Elon, I did a poll on this on X, and I think this is, the question I would ask you to think about is, and because some of you probably own Tesla stock and you're going to be voting for this June thing on his compensation package. Do you want Elon to leave the company? Because if you vote no on the compensation package, there's a significant risk Elon says, okay, I'll leave the company. He's basically said it, right? If Elon leaves the company, how many of the engineers leave? If the entire AI team is leaving. If Elon leaves the company, the entire AI team leaves because they're already being poached. The only reason they're staying is because Elon is working his ass off to keep them, and because they know they get to work for Elon and they believe in Elon. Lots of engineers come to work for Tesla for the same reason they come to work for SpaceX, because they know working for Elon Musk gives you a chance to accomplish great things. And engineers, the best engineers want to accomplish great things. So if Elon leaves the company, then you lose 20% of engineers within a few months, 50% of the engineers within 12 months. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but if you lose 20% of the engineering team, what does that do? And when you lose 20% of the engineering team, which engineers do you lose? I think the best ones go first. Now, I think the manufacturing side, I don't know if there's anywhere for them to go, but the AI team's gone, right? The battery engineers have lots of places they can go. So if you are no longer working for, if you end up with a CEO who says, well, we're going to turn Tesla into a 4 million unit a year company that earns 10% gross margins, well, now you have a $100 billion market cap company instead of a $1 trillion market cap company. And that's what voting no on the compensation package says. I don't want Tesla to try to get to 20 million vehicles a year. I don't want Tesla to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy. I want predictable quarterly numbers, right? If you want predictable quarterly numbers, then vote no on the compensation package, and you will get predictable quarterly numbers, and you will get a $100 billion market cap company. Now, I personally do not want to go from a $400 or $500 billion market cap to a $100 billion market cap. I want to go to a $1 trillion market cap, a $5 trillion market cap, a $10 trillion market cap. And the way we get there is with revolutionary change, not with ordinary behavior. So I think this will be bad judging by last call. Well, the calls are always bad if you're looking for Elon to do something he's not going to do. If you are, like me, looking for what are the clues for the long-term future of Tesla, we always get nuggets in every call. If you're looking for Tesla to, because think about this for a second. Do you want Tesla to become an ordinary car company that makes 4 million cars a year and sells them at a 5 or 10% gross margin? Is that what you want? And then makes money on selling parts and makes money on financing the cars. Do you want Tesla to become a $100 billion market cap car company? If that's what you want, then vote no on the comp package. Prakash says, sorry if I throw a contrarian opinion here, but I'm back in the stock only after there's a growth in sales, as the Robotaxi thing takes way longer for regulatory approvals. Thoughts? Robotaxis are already operating in California and Arizona. Florida already passed a law saying that Robotaxi networks are legal and that prohibiting local governments from interfering in them. Several other states adopted that law. Texas will adopt Robotaxi quickly. I don't know where you get this idea that regulatory approval takes long. There's already Robotaxis operating in multiple cities in the United States and in China. Where's this regulatory approval problem that you have? How long did it take Waymo to get regulatory approval? If it performs better than Waymo, why is it going to take long for regulatory approval? This is like a fantasy people have. And even if it takes a year or 2 years, if you're looking at 2030, who cares? When is the compensation package vote? I think it's in June. I'm not sure when voting opens, but I think it's in June. Does Elon care enough about the mission to stay despite a rejected comp package? Well, the thing is that Elon has a lot of choices. There's a lot of missions involved. He wants to make life multiplanetary. He wants to cure brain disease. He wants to accelerate the ability for humans to adapt to a world of AI, right? He wants to solve traffic problems with the Boring Company. He has multiple, and he wants to preserve free speech with X. Like, he has multiple missions he can pursue. If he's told, we don't care, the shareholders don't appreciate what you're doing, then he can let Tesla go and he can focus on other things. Like, you have this idea that Elon's compelled to work for free. He's not required to work for free. What do you say to the people that say our bullish thesis requires an energy grid that would be decades away? I think that's absolutely silly. We have an energy grid now. I mean, look, I've got an outlet. My laptop is plugged into the energy grid right now in Thailand with not very many EVs. There's plugs everywhere. The energy grid is fine. That's a fantasy. Norway and Sweden buy a massive amount of EVs. Their energy grid is fine. Look at China has a really, really large share of the market in EVs. Their energy grid is fine. Why do people make up imaginary problems? Jupiter James says, I expect Elon will stay even if the package is rejected. The mission means too much to him. What's the probability that you're wrong? Well, he'll stay because he loves the mission. What's the probability that you're wrong? And how does he accomplish the mission if the shareholders don't support his leadership of the company? If the shareholders don't support his leadership of the company, then he can't force the company to do the things he wants it to do. If people vote no on the comp package, they're saying we don't want Elon in charge of the company. That's a clear message. If you don't see that that's a clear message, I don't know what you're looking at. You're just saying fuck you to Elon. You vote no on the comp package. This is what you're saying to Elon right there. You're saying go fuck yourself. We don't want you here. If you don't believe that that's the message he's going to hear, you just don't think. Airless tire. No, Elon's kind of dumped on the idea of the airless tire. I think he thinks that regular tires are already pretty good, and the cost of engineering and the challenges of making airless tires, like he was asked about airless tires a while ago, and he said, turns out that the tires with air in them are pretty good. If Elon has loans against his Tesla stock, can he afford taking the chance of leaving and the resulting drop in the stock price? My understanding is that he doesn't have that much loans against his Tesla stock. It's not nearly as much as people think. I don't know the numbers. I don't think it's as big as people think it is. Why would the stock price drop if he leaves? I thought you said that Elon was, if you think that the stock price is going to fall if Elon leaves, then you better vote for the goddamn comp package. He can carry on his mission with other companies. No, and then when the AI team, when the engineers leave, some of them will go to XAI, some of them will go to SpaceX. Will you sell all of your stocks if the vote goes south? I have to evaluate. I don't make those decisions on the fly. Does Koguan vote have more power than the average shareholder? Well, I think he owns less than 1% of the company, but he has a significant number of shares. The timing of his compensation plan is awful. Sentiment around Tesla is low. Stock price is low. And Elon has ruffled a lot of feathers with his tweets. First of all, they're not tweets. They're posts on X. I think you're correct that the timing of this comp plan is not great. And this is a stress test for the shareholders, right? The layoffs are a stress test for the company, and the comp plan is a stress test for the shareholders. Do you want Elon to lead this company or not? Do you have an idea of who's going to lead this company if Elon leaves? Do you realize what happens if this is voted down? If the vote is struck down on comp package, what would you do next day? I'm not. Look, if you're going to react to it after it happens, you're going to be too late. Right? If your idea is, well, I'm going to sell after, because after it happens, the stock falls 50%. You're going to sell it 50% down? The market will react before you can. You might say, I think it's going to go down, so I'm going to sell in advance of the vote. Now you've increased the likelihood the vote goes no, because if you were a yes vote. Now, let's suppose you're a no vote, sell your shares. If you're a no vote, sell your shares. If you think that the answer should be no, and then you think through logically, all right, if the vote goes no, does Elon leave? Now you can say, well, he's not going to leave. All right, is there a 20% chance that he leaves? Is there a 50% chance that he leaves? How sure are you he's not going to leave? Thank you, Mitchell. Kogwan has 0.3% of the stock in the company. Has the legacy car story won over the EV story? I don't think so. Yeah, Mark, I don't post that much on locals anymore on the Daily Lie. I feel I'm mostly on X. If you want to follow me for my political views or my other views or my Tesla views, please follow me on X. It's WR4NYGov on X. Elon has a massive package. Kevin says, I'm not saying bad words to Elon Musk, but what happens if shareholders vote against him? If shareholders vote against him, it is a clear message. We don't want you running the company. I don't know how you could be more clear. Can the comp plan be revised to be more ambitious? The comp plan is what it is. We can't, will they come up with another compensation plan after this one to incentivize them for the future? Probably, but that's not the vote we were given. How much Leo shares have the impact on the vote? 0.3%. That's how much. He's not going to go to Rivian. I don't think Elon's going to go to another EV company. I think Elon's going to focus on SpaceX, XAI, Starlink. I mean, Starlink's part of SpaceX. X. X is what Elon's doing at X is critical for humanity. What Neuralink is doing is critical for humanity. What XAI is doing is critical for humanity. Yes, accelerating the transition to sustainable energy is important. It's going to happen. He's kind of already set that in motion that is going to happen anyway. The Chinese have gone EV, and the Chinese economy is probably the largest in the world. So if the Chinese go EV, then the rest of the world will eventually go EV anyway. It's a question of how quickly. So, maybe he's not moving the needle that much. But you're deciding. You decide what you want. What do I think is the major contributor in the stock price dropping? I don't know, Brownian motion. I don't. This is the thing. Like Andrew asked, what I think is a contributor to the stock price drop. I don't know what the stock price is today. I don't know what the stock price was yesterday. I think it's Sunday right now. Whatever. Did somebody say the stock is down 2% today? Isn't it Sunday? Sunday night in the U.S. Stock price isn't down. Will I be live streaming earnings call tomorrow? No, very unlikely. I think the earnings call is like 4:30, 5:30 Eastern. That's like 4:30 a.m. in Thailand. So I will not be live streaming the earnings call. No. And other people are going to live stream the earnings call. I don't add value by live streaming something that's happening. You can watch the earnings call yourself. You can watch Farzad or somebody else is going to live stream the earnings call. I don't add value by doing that. Where I think I add value is offering you a perspective that other people don't have. And thank you, Niranga, for your support. Greatly appreciated. Yeah, I think, the Optimus team probably leaves. The Optimus team probably leaves if Elon leaves. Like, why would you want to stay with a company? Like, who? And frankly, if Elon leaves, does the next CEO care about Optimus? Does the next CEO care about AI and autonomy? No. The next, if you vote no on this package, you're saying we want Scully to come in and make sugar water, right? I don't care about whether the comp package includes future goals. That's the next comp package. If you're not going to give him the past comp package, why would he trust the next comp package? Look, we made a deal with Elon in 2018. I voted yes on him getting the comp package he got. If you weren't a shareholder, then I guess you don't have to honor your vote. And Lost Gerbil, aka Ross Gerber, has made it clear he's voting against the comp package, even though he adamantly supported it at the time. If if Tesla shareholders, if the people who own Tesla are going to tell Elon, we don't want you, we don't respect you, you worked for us for 6 years and we're not going to pay you for your work. If that's what the shareholders are going to do, then you're sending a message to Elon, GFY, right? Why are everyone who bought shares on 2021 to 2024 massively underwater being asked to pay Elon? First of all, if you bought shares in 2021, you're not underwater. Um, no, you're not voting because like, I think fundamentally the reason you're voting is you're saying, do I want Elon to continue as CEO? Right? This is a referendum on Elon as CEO. You either want him to continue as CEO or you don't. If you don't want Elon in the company, then vote no. And then ask yourself, what happens after Elon leaves the company? Elon leaves the company, stock falls 50% the next day. 50% of the engineers leave within a year, the stock falls another 50%. Tesla goes from being a company that you were hoping would make 20 million vehicles a year, Robotaxi network, humanoid robots, 10x, 100x and value, to a company that makes 4 million cars a year and makes 10%, 5-10% gross margin and becomes a $100 billion market cap company. If that's what you want, vote no. I haven't seen somebody make that pitch. That no. Here's what happens if Elon leaves. If Elon leaves, Ross Gerber becomes CEO, and Ross Gerber and Barry Black become co-CEOs, and they start advertising, right? And James Catt, right? And then Mayor Thacker, they all get together. They form a collectivist CEO operation, and they start advertising to sell more cars. And they build a $25,000 version of the Model 3 that sucks, and they do all these things, and that's it. You vote for them through your brokerage. Good morning, sir. Is the India factory a go? No, I think the India factory is not a go. And I'm here in Bangkok, and I'm briefly taking it. By the way, I'm briefly taking a trip to Cambodia. As some reason, that's how it works when you want to get a retirement visa. I hired a law firm, and I got to fly to Cambodia and uh, get. That's how the process works. I have to fly to another country and it's like it's Cambodia or Singapore are the options. I can't even go to Guam. I'd have to go to Florida if I went, or the East Coast if I wanted to do that. Um, Ultimately, it's the institutions who will decide the balance. Yeah, you want to watch the recommendations of Institutional Shareholder Services, aka ISIS. Andy, I agree. If ISIS says vote no, then a large number of institutional shareholders vote no, and the vote probably goes south, and Elon probably leaves the company. I think 20 million cars is still on the table if Tesla starts a robotaxi network. The demand for robotaxis will be off the charts, and 20 million cars will just be a start. You want to replace 2 billion vehicles in a period of time. It would take 100 years at 20 million vehicles a year. Ross Gerber would build an electric gerbil ball vehicle, yes. What do I think of Leo Kogwan selling? I hope he sells. When Optimus and Robotaxi are at full scale, what market cap will Tesla be? It's easily a $10 trillion market cap. I think it's a $50 trillion market cap. I've done plenty of videos on what happens when Optimus and Robotaxi are at full scale. I mean, you can picture 100 million Robotaxis making $20,000 a year in gross profit. That's $2 trillion in gross profit. Gross profit in 2022 was 20 billion. That's 100x. Don't fly in a Boeing. It was funny. I was getting on a plane and I saw outside it was a Boeing. I'm like, uh-oh. But I think it's probably still safer than taking a bus to Cambodia. I believe the vote is in June. I don't remember the exact date. Lost gerbil we caught with Barry Black in the toilet together, bungholing each other. Somebody's got to do the reach around. Is Kogwan buying? I don't know. No, I actually, one of my concerns is that forces that are opposed to Elon will buy the stock at current low prices, and that will increase the no vote. The Saudis, for example, the oil industry could say, hey, this is our chance to get rid of Elon and get rid of the threat that Tesla poses to our long-term revenue stream of making all this money from selling oil, oil to cars. So I do have that nightmare scenario that the Saudis say, you know what, we'll spend $100 billion buying Tesla stock to force so that we can get a no vote on Elon to drive Elon out of the company. And then the stock plummets, but then the Saudis take a hit. They lose, $50 billion, which is nothing compared to the $1 trillion a year they make selling oil. I can't predict how the shareholder vote will go. I am scared that it will go no and Elon will leave. That's the nightmare scenario. Elon is going to say exactly what shareholders want to hear on Tuesday. Shareholders don't all want to hear the same thing. I want to hear the future. Some people want to hear next quarter. Is the vote of 50% a pass? I don't know. Tesla being oversold. Do you think they'll bounce back on Monday till their earnings are announced? I don't make short-term stock price predictions. If you haven't watched me enough, you don't know that. Imagine Elon moved Drew out to wait for him while the vote fails. They create a robotaxi company. No, I think some of the scenarios I imagine are if Elon gets bumped out and somebody else takes over the company, then you know, and the stock falls. The company's now a $100 billion company, and Elon makes a bid for the AI part of the company because the shareholders have basically said that the AI is worth nothing, right? Elon thinks it's an AI and robotics company. The shareholders think it's a car company. Fine. Well, if you think it's a car company, well, what's the AI part of the company worth then? And the problem is there'll be other bidders. You know, Microsoft and Google will want to buy the AI part of the company. That's the comical thing is that the stock falls to, $50 a share, and Elon leaves the company. The stock falls to $50 a share, and whoever takes over, and now they have a plan to get to 4 million cars a year with advertising and 5% gross margins, and it's $100 billion market cap for the future. And then they don't have any plans for AI because the AI team is left. And somebody comes in like Microsoft or Google and says, we want to buy the data. And they make an offer. They probably offer like $100 billion for the idiots who run the company would probably sell it for 10 billion, even though it's worth 100 billion. Elon gets in that bidding war more. Is it true a yes vote still doesn't guarantee Elon gets paid? I've never heard that. I don't see why that would be true. I mean, I suppose a court could come in and overrule the vote. You picture Robotaxi as a cube kind of style? No. I picture it as a car with no steering wheel and pedals, that's for sure. Vanguard, Fidelity, and others control a significant block of stock. We know that I think T. Rowe Price has said they're voting yes on the package. So that's one institutional investor. X date to vote was April 15th. Had to own the stock on April 15th to vote. That's probably true. Are shareholder votes based on simple majority or some weird super majority thing? As I understand it, Elon and Kimball don't vote their shares because of a conflict of interest. So it's the percentage of shareholders outside of Elon's stake and Kimball's stake that makes the decision. But there's no super majority thing. Yeah, Elon's stake of the company will drop if he leaves. Absolutely. Does Drew leaving mean the 4680 ramp is not going well? The 4680 ramp is fine. A rational board of directors would never fund and allow FSD to be done, or robots or chips or anything dicey. We die. Yeah. I don't know about a rational board of directors. I think an ordinary board of directors would stop it. Wait until you. And then here's another question: how many of the board of directors leave? Like, does Kimball stay with the company if Elon leaves? Wait until you can order a Robotaxi directly off X. Robotaxi becomes a household name, and not only that, not only you can order a Robotaxi when X has the payment system. Saudis want Lucid to lead. How does get to 4 million cars produced by 2026? They don't. I mean, next generation vehicle factories open in 2025. They probably produce 4 million cars in 2026, just from one next generation vehicle factory alone. It'll ramp fast. Elon's new company will be a robo AI licensing company. First customer is Hyundai Group, maybe. Don't you think ubiquity is a problem with limited Tesla models? I already get people say too many Model Y, so can't buy the same car everyone drives, and that's why it's the best-selling car in the world. What are you talking about? I think that Prakash for you is interested in Tesla being a car company that sells 4 million cars a year at 10% or 5% gross margins and has a $100 billion market cap. I want Tesla to be a company that sells rides and robot services and AI services and becomes $1 trillion market cap, $10 trillion market cap, $100 trillion market cap company. If you want Tesla to become a $100 billion market cap company, then worry about, well, we don't have enough models and we need to sell 2.5 million cars instead of 2 million cars. HopMop says, in the scenario that Elon leaves and either makes a bid for the AI component of the company or forms a brand new company from scratch, would they be at a disadvantage compared to, when they start, they would be at a disadvantage compared to everybody. I think that XAI probably has a lot of valuable data. We'll see. Leo Kogan is greedy and selfish. He does not want Elon to get paid after contract was made and Elon held up his end of the contract. I'm not a fan of Cleo Kogwan. Did Elon do something wrong in the last 2 years? Well, if you listen to Barry Glack and Lost Gerbil and James Catt and everybody else and Mayor Thacker, then Elon's done a lot wrong. It's all his. Everything's his fault. Brazil is his fault. Ukraine is his fault. Israel's his fault. It's either Orange Man or Elon Man bad. Take your pick. Orange Man bad, Elon Man bad. If you see risk, are you hedging? Elon is the one saying buy the dip. How would he fix the retail investors? I don't think it's Elon's job to fix the retail investors. It's retail investors' job to fix what's happening with this vote. If the retail investors don't vote for Elon to get his comp package, then they've just said GFY to Elon and Elon goes. Nothing stops Elon from dumping his stock the next day if he plans to leave. His money is a better place elsewhere. I think he dumps his stock before he leaves. I don't think he's that dumb. He starts selling stock before he leaves. If Elon leaves, all the top managers who wanted to work for Elon would then start taking better jobs at other companies. Absolutely. The other companies typically pay better. You go to Tesla because you think that you're changing the world and you get stock options in a company that's going to grow to $1 trillion, $2 trillion market cap. If you end up with a CEO who's hoping to turn it into a $100 billion market cap, that's where you go. Thank you, Talman. Lost gerbil. Not lost gerbil, lost gerbil. He's a lost gerbil. Don't forget meet Karen. I mean meet Kevin. Do you think the Fed will reduce rates this year? I don't know. I don't really spend a lot of time thinking about what the Federal Reserve does. I think the Federal Reserve is terrible. We should end the Fed, but I don't have thoughts on that. You can go to Meet Karen's channel to find out his thoughts on that. What are my thoughts on price cuts? I don't know. They raised the price of Model Y $1,000. They raised it another $1,000, and they cut the price $2,000, and everybody thinks the sky is falling. They lowered the price $2,000 from the price that had been increased $2,000. They're adjusting price to the market demand to match production. Elon just said that on X like today. Elon will take Tesla private if he leaves and the stock falls. Funding secured, remember? I think it's actually possible that Elon would take Tesla private if the stock vote goes down. That's an option I hadn't thought about, Heaven Guy, but could Elon take Tesla private? Stock falls to $50 a share. The market cap's now like 150 trillion, 150 billion or something like that. Could Elon take Tesla private? I don't think that's insane. Way too much riding on one person. Well, why did you invest in Tesla? There's a whole lot riding on Elon. The future of humanity rides on Elon. If you don't see that, like, going to the stars rides on Elon. Curing brain disease currently rides on Elon. There's nobody else doing the things that Elon's doing. If you want to make life better for humanity, then bet on Elon. If you want to make life worse for humanity, bet on Biden. Or Trump. I don't care. Meet Karen, yes. That's my friend Jeff came up with Meet Karen. It's not me. I'm not going to claim credit. I didn't even come up with Barry Glack. That was my friend Lincoln. I don't know how retail investors. My message to retail investors is: look, where do you want Tesla to go in the future? Do you want Tesla to try to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy? Do you want Tesla to revolutionize transportation? Do you want Tesla to produce humanoid robots at scale? Do you want a company that's going to change the world? Or do you want a company that just sells sugar water? If you want a company that's going to sell 4 million cars a year, 5-10% gross margin, with lots of advertising on TV to make you feel good about your brand, then Elon's not your man. Vote no. If you want Tesla to become $1 trillion, $5 trillion, $10 trillion company changing the world, then vote yes on the package. Can Elon offer low rates to increase sales? That's Gary Black. I think you need to follow Barry Glack, because that's the kind of bullshit Barry Glack pushes. Elon would be an insider if he dumps his stock before he leaves. There's a process for following it. He can sell stock when he wants. He just has to be disclosed in a certain time frame. Does the Delaware appeal decision impact the $6 billion lawyer fees? I haven't seen a Delaware appeal decision yet, so I don't know what that is. Ross shaved and frozen gerbil. Elon thrives when things are chaotic and hard and won't leave Tesla without a fight. So here's Wobster's like, well, Elon won't leave. Oh, okay. Elon won't leave. Elon won't leave. Elon won't leave. I pray to the Lord, Elon won't leave. Why would you stay? If the owners of your company said go fuck yourself, why would you stay? Who is this? Who do you think this guy is? Elon is making a good decision by not going heavy on Model 2, which he says is boring and would cannibalize the Model 3. I don't think he said any of that. An Optimus is not going to be involved in the factory. There's this fantasy people have that Optimus is going to be involved in the factory. They're building the they're designing the factory now. Optimus is not going to be a key player in the factory. They're building entirely new robots for the factory, and they told us that. I like sugar water. I'm glad you like sugar water. Do you want to own a company that sells sugar water? Or do you want to own a company that changes the world? Elon is way bigger than Edison. No, you want a company that changes the world. No, I want Super Bowl ads. Thank you, Jupiter James. What are the chances of the dual? So what's Tesla market cap by 2045? We have two paths. We have the the Leo Kogwan path that Tesla market cap by 2045 is somewhere between 0 and 100 billion. And we have the Elon path where the market cap is $10 trillion or more. You choose, what do you want? What are the chances of dual delivery of Model 2? There is no Model 2. Stop calling it Model 2. There's no Model 2. There's never been a Model 2. There is no Model 2. There is a next generation vehicle platform that may have a version with a steering wheel. I want Tesla to build AI female robot companions. I don't think the female robot companions are that compelling. Can we give Tesla, Elon 25% voting right without 25% share of Tesla move to Texas? That's not on the plate right now. I haven't seen any proposal for that to actually happen. Thoughts on how many Cybertrucks will be produced, delivered this year? I'd say 50,000 is a wild guess. Less than 100,000, more than 50,000, something like that. Mars gravity is too strong and will cause bone density issues. Mars gravity is not too strong. Mars gravity is too weak. And I imagine that the people who live on Mars will do a lot of exercise to maintain their strength. Watch the show Expanse if you want to understand it. When do I think Tesla will 10x? I think Tesla will 10x when the Robotaxi network goes live. And I think Tesla won't 10x if the package is voted down and Elon leaves. Oh, I don't know about Amy and Boomer Mama's petition, but I don't know how reliable that was. Sending an optimist to the Delaware judge's house. How do I think Vanguard? I think we're going to wait to see what Institutional Shareholder Services says. My prediction is that Institutional Shareholder Services says vote no. I am concerned. Yes, you're correct, Stein. I am concerned about the compensation package vote. I think the future of Tesla is at stake in the compensation package vote. I think if Institutional Shareholder Services says vote no, then the vote probably goes against Tesla. We'll see. I don't think the Delaware judge matters in terms of being unseated. Model 2 is easier to say. Oh my God. What if AI FSD won't be good enough for autonomous driving? Yeah, what if computers can't be better than humans at chess or Go? Like, what is it about driving that you think is that hard that computers won't be able to do it? Would I visit Mars if ever? I would go to the moon. Mars, just so people understand, Mars is a 30-month round trip, maybe a 26-month round trip if everything works out great. And I have family on Earth that I want to talk to and see in person. Any word about Tesla Semi? There was just a post recently that Tesla Semi is getting a lot of great feedback, and I think they started building the factory in Giga Nevada that will produce it at scale. Thank you, Lang Focus. What do you think of the? You can vote from Japan. Oh, I don't know how you vote. I would contact your brokerage and find out how you do it. That's a good question. Mars is less gravity than Earth and colder. A lot colder. I hear the atmosphere is a little thinner too. 4,000 Cybertrucks is almost $500 million in revenue. I'll take your word for it. Oh, call the next generation guy. We should call it Otto. OTTO. From the movie Airplane. That's perfect. Call it the Otto. Why did Mars lose atmosphere? That's a question. That's too big of a question for this. I believe the vote is in June. Do you think those attorneys deserve 50 billion of Tesla stock, not Elon? I don't think the attorneys deserve anything, but what do I know? But the courts are going to give them a large sum of something or other. What if we never solved pi? We solved pi. It's 22/7. Come on, move on. 3.14, close enough. Elon exceeded expectations and promises to shareholders for the package. He deserves what he's owed. So to me, the vote is not like, does he deserve it? Right? I mean, I believe he deserves it. It's, do you want Elon to be CEO of this company? Do you want Elon to run this company, or do you want him to leave the company? A vote on this package is a vote of whether you want Elon to stay or go. It's a vote on where you see the future of Tesla. If you see the future of Tesla as being an AI and robotics company, you vote yes on the comp package because Elon's going to deliver that. If you vote no on the comp package, you're going to end up with somebody else's CEO, and the most common view of Tesla prevailing outside of Elon's approach is, let's see if we can make 4 million cars a year and sell them at 5 or 10% margins and do a lot of advertising on TV. That's the competing view, right? There's two views of the future of Tesla. There's Elon's view, which is it's an AI and robotics company. We make robotaxis, we sell rides, we make robots, we sell robot services, or we sell robots, we sell AI services. That's a future that Elon sees for the company. And to me, that's a $10 trillion, $50 trillion market cap company. The competing vision is make more cars, sell more cars, make more variants of cars, and do a lot of advertising on TV. And with that approach, you get to maybe 4 million cars a year and a 5 or 10% gross margin. And maybe if you're lucky, you get a $100 billion market cap. That's the Elon Musk approach to the future, and the Barry Gleck, Loss Gerbil, James Catt, Meet Karen view of the company. You take your pick. Which one do you want? Do you want a company that's striving to be a $10 trillion, $20 trillion company that's going to change the world? Or do you want another car maker that advertises on the Super Bowl? Is that what you want? I don't have a percentage chance of how the vote's going to go. I feel like people are missing it. Like, I don't think the message is Elon earned it. You owe it to him. I don't think that's the message that people want to hear. And as somebody pointed out earlier, somebody who bought stock in 2023 is not persuaded by that message, because as far as they're concerned, I bought the stock and it's down. Right? So he didn't earn it. You're not thinking back to 2018. The message is, who do you want leading this company going forward? What vision do you want for the company going forward? If you vote no, you're saying, I don't want Elon's vision of the company going forward. I want the Barry Gleck, Lost Gerbil, Leo Kogwan view of the company, which is an ordinary car maker that makes some profits and is worth $100 billion. I don't know if we'll know the breakdown of retail versus institutional. In your opinion, what are the odds of a vote result in favor of Elon? I don't have an opinion on the odds. I don't know. I think we don't have enough information to have an opinion yet. I think institutional shareholder services recommendation is going to be very critical. Elon and Biden should trade spots, then we fire Brandon. Why did Elon not have voting stocks like Zuckerberg and the two Google guys? Elon decided he wanted the people who own the company to have a fair say. And if they vote him out, they vote him out. And this is your chance to vote him out. Zuck just said each AI will require its own nuclear power plant for power. Seems limiting. I don't follow Zuck closely enough to know whether that's true or not. The vote is not on April 29th. The vote is in June. If the package is voted down, could Elon leave the company and then sue Tesla for not receiving any comp for work performed? He could leave the company. I don't think he sues Tesla. Did the judge ever state what compensation Elon should be awarded? Yes, she said 0. No, she said 0. That's the compensation that Elon was awarded as a result of what she did. And she specifically addressed that question. Should she construct some other compensation package? And she said no. Who will replace Elon as CEO if he decides to leave? That's a great question. John Scully, apparently. Why would anyone want anyone else to run but Elon running Tesla? Lots of people want someone else running Tesla. They ask them for who, and they never give you an answer. I don't know what NXU is. Elon just has to say he's staying either way. Well, what if he's already said he might leave? I don't understand where you get that from. Elon has said if he's not going to be able to get significant control of the company, then he's going to leave and go build stuff somewhere else. He doesn't have to say that. He can say, I'm leaving if the vote goes no. Mainstream media tried to claim that Elon was leaving Tesla, not to strengthen Tesla, but as FUD. This is the only time I've been nervous holding this stock, and I'm down a lot. Yep. Elon still owns $100 billion of stock. Shouldn't he still have motivation to grow Tesla even if the vote is no? Sure. But he owns, a lot of SpaceX. He owns a lot of Neuralink. First of all, he has so much money. He doesn't care about the money. He cares about being able to build great things. And if the vote goes no on this, it's basically saying we don't want you to build great things. Can he not sell his equity in SpaceX to buy more Tesla share? I think SpaceX's mission is more important to Elon than Tesla's mission. I think people really badly misread Elon if they think that Tesla's mission is more important than SpaceX. SpaceX's mission is more important. And by the way, Starlink alone will be a $1 trillion company in a few years. And Elon probably owns more than half of Starlink. SpaceX. Rumi, it's nice that you say that Jeff Bezos didn't leave when he didn't have a big compensation package. That's nice. But Jeff Bezos didn't have 6 other companies to run, to put his time into, right? Elon has choices. SpaceX is going to be a multi-trillion dollar company. Elon could put his time into that. His time might be better spent on SpaceX. I agree with you that Leo Kogwan should sell, but that's not what we get. I don't think this has to do with whether he wanted a salary because it would be taxable, because he was taxed on his options for sure. JB is the only qualified person to be CEO if Elon leaves. I don't think JB would want to be the CEO if Elon leaves, and I don't think JB would be chosen by the people who voted Elon out. You get your funds before the vote happens, or are you still planning on buying more Tesla? So I don't think I will get my funds before the vote happens. So my accountant said that because I'm currently outside the United States, my taxes will be in mid-June, and I think that's too late. I don't know who Dave Calhoun is. The new comp package for shares is different than the first package. He should say he is staying despite the vote. Why would he say that? He's already said the opposite of that, effectively. This is a vote of confidence in Tesla. Julia says, how's the Bangkok life going, Warren? I knew you'd fit in here. Well, we should meet up, Julia. Send me a message. I think Bangkok life is going great. That's a personal update. I don't want to say lease secured, but I have a condo lease that is almost secured. I've made a partial deposit, further deposit, signed some paperwork, but it's not a lease yet. So I should have a condo, and a spectacular condo, and a spectacular, like amazing views of the Chao Phraya River, and a great location for what I want. Not in Sukhumvit, by the way, Julius, if you know what I'm talking about. Up near, somewhere near Chatuchak, if that helps. West of Chatuchak. Baglina would go back as CEO. So the people who are in control of the company, if Elon loses the vote, are people who don't want Baglino. They're people who don't want JB Straubel. They don't want the generational change that Elon's trying to deliver and that those guys were on board with. Tesla podría comprar. Why would they buy Uber? Uber's like over $100 billion, and Tesla can't afford to buy Uber right now. And why wouldn't they buy Lyft instead of Uber? Money means too much to us who don't have means much to us who doesn't have billions. Earning more money simply doesn't play a role in Elon's agenda. So David Pern says Elon played double or nothing to borrow against the shareholding value being non-taxable borrowings. It was his choice. Yes, that's true. It was his choice. And now it's your choice. Do you want him to continue leading the company or not? To me, this is a referendum. Can't take Warren's talking down at people. I'm out of here. Ciao. If you believe that this is, if you don't see this is a referendum on Elon as the leader of the company. Quick question: when did shareholders have to own stock in order to vote, or is it shareholders at the time of the vote? I think it's April 15th or something like that. I'm not sure exactly when. If Elon leaves, Tesla will not be the same company. No shit. Warren, when you go live on X, you are streaming your exact location in Bangkok? Well, not exact location, and also, by the way, the geolocation that X posts is often wrong for Bangkok. It was posting some location. I'm like, I'm not there. Okay, it's not the exact location. It's a near location. Can I come visit once secured? Sure. I'm not offering sleepovers or anything, but I'd be happy to meet you for coffee. Great coffee shop nearby. Amazon Cafe, if you guys like it. Not related to Bezos. How's the Tesla insurance doing? I think Tesla insurance is a massive disappointment from my perspective. I'm paying more and more for car insurance in Florida. We don't have Tesla insurance there. The best way to reach me, Julius, is DMing me on X if you're a verified user, or wredlick@gmail.com. Are the best ways to reach me. People email me wredlick@gmail.com, and I'm also wredlick online. WREDLICH online, although that's like tricky. Sometimes that doesn't work. Goke says, so Judge Kathleen McCormick thinks Elon should work for 6+ years and get $0. Would she work 6 years for zero compensation? She specifically mentioned that like Zuckerberg and Bezos and some other CEOs didn't get paid, so why would Elon get paid? She specifically mentioned that in the decision. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 1,000 duck-sized horses? Explain reasoning, no lightsabers or weird weapons. Duck-sized horses versus one horse-sized duck. It's a good question. I'm going to go with 1,000 duck-sized horses because I think only so many of them can get at me in the short term. Drew Baglino worked for Tesla for 18 years. It's a hard job. It's a hard life. He's going to take a break, spend some time with his family, and I'll go do something else exciting. Pop Mop says institutions make up 43% of shareholder ownership. If they all vote no and the remaining owners vote the opposite, then Tesla's future continues. No, that's not completely correct because Elon and Kimball aren't voting. Don't forget that Elon and Kimball are not voting. And Elon owns a lot of stock. And the remaining owners, not all retail shareholders are going to vote in unison. And we already know T. Rowe Price has said they're going to vote yes. So I think Vanguard and Fidelity are decisive, and BlackRock. Why pay Elon more money than Tesla's ever made since its inception? He's already got a ton of stock. He's already super wealthy. I thought he said it wasn't about the money. First of all, you're not paying him money, you're paying him stock options. Second of all, you're voting not because you think it's about money. You're voting on whether you want Elon to continue being CEO of the company. Do you want Elon to lead this company, or do you want someone else to lead this company? And you don't get to pick who the someone else is. You just know someone else is going to lead the company. To me, if the vote goes no, Elon probably leaves. Brett, and I've also been since 2016. I'm in campaign mode. Any things you miss about living in the States? Good pizza, good barbecue. My kids. But I talk to my kids a lot, and I'll see them once or twice a year probably, and probably get more time with them. Actually, it's strange, but if my kids come visit me in Thailand or Asia or wherever, I'll probably get more time with them than I would get with them if I visit them in the U.S. I don't make judgments about when I'm going to sell my stock based on what ifs. I make the decision about whether I'm going to buy or sell stock based on what's happening at the moment that I'm making the decision. And right now, I'm still holding stock. I haven't sold a share. Tesla feels like the revote will be passed. Otherwise, they would just pursue the appeal. I think they're doing both. Tesla's not compute constrained for FSD and the bot. Elon has said that they're not compute constrained. I believe Elon would vote yes, but Elon does not vote. I don't think Elon votes his shares. Everyone is expecting a high return on robotaxis. Don't you think countries will raise some sort of extra tax on robotaxis? So Florida has prohibited local governments from taxing robotaxis. I think there'll be some taxes on robotaxis, but I don't think they'll be that dramatic. I think some countries will overtax robotaxis, and then they won't have robotaxis. But you don't need the entire world to be in favor of robotaxis for Tesla to become a generational change, a revolutionary change company and a multi-trillion-dollar company. If country X puts big taxes on robotaxis, well, country X is screwing its own residents, and Tesla focuses its robotaxis in the places that are robotaxi friendly. Is it possible that Tesla would not make a profit this quarter? I don't know, and I don't care. I don't do short-term numbers. People are getting sick of the way things have been going over the last few years. If there's no signs of turning around in this CC, I think most will vote against Elon. If you vote against Elon, you're turning a $500 billion company into a $100 billion company. Oh, so pizza and barbecue are two things you should know how to make yourself. There's no oven. There's basically no ovens in Thailand, and you can't grill on a condo balcony. I haven't had the opportunity to grill or smoke. You don't see smokers. Like the opportunity to bake those things is tricky. Elon seems most likely running X than Tesla. Why would we want to vote yes? Like I said, if you want, listen, if you think that the choice is something different, I would love to hear it. To me, it's really simple. The choice is, do I want Elon running the company, trying to turn it into a $10 trillion company, or do I want a John Scully-like person turn the Tesla into a $100 billion company? That's your choice. Thank you, Telman. I disagree with Ross on a lot of things, mostly political, but as someone representing investors, that's doing the right thing. You say so. Pretty sure Elon can't sell the options for 5 years, right? He can't exercise the options for 5 years, I believe. And then can't sell them. And you might be able to sell options before they're exercised. I don't know. Nobody knew about Lyft when they started. Um, I don't think anybody outside of, well, uh, I don't think most of the board members own that much stock. When is your girlfriend making an appearance on the live streams? Not yet. What happened? We're talking about doing I want to do a new channel called Bikini Nomad. She wears the bikini, but we haven't agreed on that one yet. What happened to all the BS spreadsheets you pumped over and over saying 30K by 2030? I still think we're going to 30K by 20. Well, I think 30K was probably pre-split. But I think we're going to 10K by 2030 if we maybe 2032. I think a lot of things have happened in the economy and life that have slowed things down. It's not Ross's job to kiss Elon's ass. His job is to serve the interests of the people invested in his ETF. And his other investors, right? In his wealth management firm. So is it serving the interests of his people to turn Tesla from a $500 billion company into a $100 billion company? Is that in their interest? Do they have toilets? Yes, we have toilets in Thailand. Actually, this condo I'm in right now has bidet toilets. They're awesome. What's your take on Bill Gurley and Brad Gerstner's podcast discussion about the hidden overhead of Robotaxi? I haven't seen that. I'll take a look at that. Hopefully I'll find it. Can we get a multi-purpose air fryer? Yeah. If the vote goes no, I hope he leaves. It would be a terrible outcome. Be best for Elon and humanity. Yeah, he should not waste his time, talent, and vision where he's not wanted. He's got plenty of other things to do. Well, you can exercise the options but can't sell for 5 years. Thank you. Well, it wouldn't make sense to exercise until you can sell. If the vote is from people who owned April 15th, if the stock goes down since then we might have a lot of people voting who no longer own stock. Recipe for disaster. I don't know how that's going to work. That's technical. Do I think large shareholders are still going to vote for the comp package? Any room for hostile takeover move? I think there's a lot of room for hostile takeover move, yes. Where do you think passive? But I don't think it makes sense to do a hostile takeover. It doesn't make financial sense to do a hostile takeover if you're going to turn it into a $100 billion company. Because then you pay like $600 or $700 billion for a company you're going to turn into $100 billion. That you'd have to do a hostile takeover with a plan to do Robotaxi and Optimus. Where do you think the passive bulls head are now? Are you in the camp of yourself and Stephen Mark Ryan, or in the camp of Ross Gerber and Gary Black? I don't know what passive bulls are. Is Trump better for Tesla? Probably. I mean, the Biden, whatever the package was that created all these tax credits was probably good for Tesla, but Biden's not very good for the economy as far as I can see. I don't really have a strong opinion about Trump versus Biden. I don't like either one of them. Probably lean towards Trump if I had to, but I'd vote Libertarian anyway. I think my toilets are American standard. How important are retail investor votes? I think they're very important. They're probably 50% plus of the vote. Thank you, Michelle. Will PIF have another chance to take Tesla private? This is one of my theories, that the Saudis sneak in, buy a bunch of Tesla stock. They vote no. Elon leaves. The stock falls, to $50 a share or less, and then they swoop in and they buy the company. Picture Ready says, personally, Elon is the man for the job, but he needs to stick to the plan and keep his nose from other country problems. He is not Mother Teresa. So tyranny happens when good men stay quiet. Elon is a good man. You go tell the people of Brazil that Elon should stay quiet. Go tell the people of Brazil that. You want them to live under tyranny? Then there you go. Elon wants to live in a world where we're not subject to tyranny. Is X making it harder or easier to vote to be yes? Seems like X has turned a lot against. No, the people who are against Elon were against Elon before. And they're using X as an excuse to blame Elon for everything. And if you're a sucker and you fall for that, then that's on you, not on Elon. Is the vote a test on shareholders' IQ? I think so. Ignore all the noise, buy more Tesla stock. FSD is not valued into the stock. Even if Elon leaves, 100 billion seems too low. If Elon leaves, FSD is no longer a priority for the company. I don't think you get this. Who is pushing FSD? If Elon leaves, some new CEO comes in. Let's make more Model Ys. The Model Y is a great car. Let's make a coupe version. Let's make a convertible Model Y. Sell, their dream is to get to 4 million cars a year, making 5% gross margin. And let's advertise on the Super Bowl, because that's going to work. Can I do a poll in this chat to see where your viewers would vote on comp plan? I don't know if you can do a poll. Thank you, VB. This new vote is risky for Elon, 100%. The reason is that many new shareholders are not happy and they may vote no. 100%, you're 100% correct. Which candidate is planning to cut the U.S. deficit? Neither one of them. I don't know which candidate says they're going to cut the deficit. Probably both. Which candidate will cut the deficit? Neither. What are BlackRock and Vanguard's motivation to vote no? Do they want to crash the stock? They're dominated by DEI people. Institutional investors are smart. They will vote in favor. We'll see. I think that the DEI crowd might have too much influence over institutional investors. Thank you, VB, for your super chat. Very much appreciated. It's Ross's job to pander to his EDS customers and blame Elon for his cratering fund. ETF? If Elon leaves, I would be devastated financially. Yeah, look, I'm all in. So I would be devastated financially. What do I want Elon to say in the earnings call to make you comfortable? I want Elon to talk about the future of Tesla. I want Elon to say we're repositioning the company towards this fantastic future of self-driving cars, robotaxi networks, AI, and robotics. And these are the steps that we are taking within the company to position ourselves for that future. And it's going to be a short-term hit to revenue and profit. That's what I want him to say. If Elon and Musk and Kimball aren't voting and institutions hold 43% and vote no, is that enough for the decision to pass? Why would that vote? You've got to understand that you also have retail shareholders and they're not going to vote uniformly. And institutional shareholders aren't going to vote uniformly. T. Rowe Price has already said they're going to vote yes. Shareholders' vote is in June. So, I think the other big news, let me just talk about FSD price falling to from $12,000 to $8,000. Hopefully, we're going to see something here. Will reducing the price of FSD to $8,000 cause more people to buy FSD? Will dropping the price of FSD to $99 a month increase more people subscribing to FSD? Are we going to see a significant increase in FSD-driven miles? I believe the purpose of this. I'm currently living in Florida, but I'm a digital nomad with a base of operations in Bangkok. I think that Tesla needs more data generated by FSD to increase the rate at which FSD improves. I think that's the reason for the drop in price to $8,000. I don't think it's a long-term thing. I think that once FSD is solved and Robotaxi becomes real, the price goes up. But for now, they've got to solve the problem. I vaguely remember Elon said he would make sure that buying Twitter would benefit Tesla shareholders in the long run. How do you see it now? I think that Grok will be in the cars. I think that the X app will be in the cars. I think that advertising on X has been beneficial to Tesla. I think free, posts on X that are free have been beneficial to Tesla. I think there's a lot of benefits to Tesla. And you're attributing the ride for Tesla shareholders to the X takeover as if the X takeover caused the Federal Reserve to raise interest rates and caused the economies to contract in various countries. Like, I don't think Elon buying X caused interest rates to go up. If it did, there's something really weird in how the world works. Does driving on FSD mean the car is not getting any human data other than interventions? I believe so. I believe that's correct, but I don't know. Oh, that's a good point that the Saudis can't control the vote if they needed to own stock on April 15th. That's a good point. Do you save tax on investing, trading while living in Thailand? I've been told there's a benefit of investing while money in Thailand, but I don't have free cash right now, and I didn't live in Thailand when I bought my stock. What is something Elon, and I live in Florida anyway. What is something Elon says on Tuesday that would make you uncomfortable? I think the only thing I'm concerned about is he doesn't say enough to talk about the change in direction of the company. It's not something he does say, it's what he might not say if he doesn't say enough about that future. But that future is not going to make the lost gerbils and Barry Glax happy. How much will Tesla charge for Robotaxi hand-free driving software? Well, I think once Tesla has Robotaxi, they don't sell cars to consumers. And if you have a Tesla vehicle, you won't have to pay to get FSD to run it in the Robotaxi network. You'll get a revenue share whether you paid for FSD or not. Pete Miller says, Tesla's not a car company now, even though Elon said 20 million cars by 2030. I don't know. It seems like it's a car company to me, at least for now. Elon said a lot of things did not materialize, like FSD will be ready in 2017. He never said Model 2 would be built. He's never said Model 2 once in his life. There is no Model 2. And nobody said he's never said it's not being built either. Because he doesn't talk about Model 2. There's a next generation vehicle coming. There's a Robotaxi version of it. There may or may not be a version with steering wheel and pedals. Why would Elon leave Tesla and when? If the vote goes against him, it's a referendum on the shareholders that they don't think he's a good leader of the company. How was the new CEO chosen? The board would choose a new CEO. And it'd be interesting to see how many of the board members stay. Tuesday's earnings call is going to have a big impact on Elon's future with Tesla. I think that if he says enough, it'll have an impact. We'll see. Does my girlfriend like Tesla? Yes. She actually, we're walking down the street and she says, look, a Tesla. How is it hard to understand that X is a candidate against tyranny? Tesla needs a place to exist. Yes. Yeah, because they don't care about tyranny. The people who say that, they don't care about tyranny. They just want their stock to go up. They don't care. They don't care if there's no freedom. They don't realize that when there's no freedom, that eventually the tyranny eventually comes for them. The new CEO would have been Drew. Elon did not fire Drew. And I've been an advocate for Drew for backup CEO for a long time, and so many people argued with me. I don't think he was the backup CEO. What are my expectations for August 8th? Great question, Vikram. I think August 8th, they tell us some about the Robotaxi vehicle, some larger ideas like how many miles per kilowatt hour, what the eventual cost of the vehicle will be, what some of the advantages are. And then I think I don't follow Eva, sir. Whatever. So then and then I think they'll talk a lot about the manufacturing of the next generation vehicle, and the purpose of the talk will be to encourage the event will be to encourage engineers to come work for Tesla. So I think you're talking about Eva McMillan. I don't follow Eva McMillan. I don't trust people in general who say this is what I bought at, this is what I sold at. I think that people can manufacture stories like that to make themselves look better. And I'm not saying she's manufacturing, I'm just saying that's my thinking. Bo McGillicuddy, 100%. We all think it can't happen here. Talk to anyone who survived authoritarian takeover. They thought it couldn't happen here. We already had it. COVID was an authoritarian takeover of the United States. And lots of people fell for it. Fortunately, about half the country said, go fuck yourself. Even if Elon loses the vote, he still has another chance for the next comp package. No, I don't think I don't think you understand. If the vote goes no, it's a referendum of the shareholders. We don't like Elon's leadership of the company. Don't you think Elon would have a plan B for Tesla if he doesn't get vote? Tesla's Elon's baby. SpaceX. Okay, this is another thing. People don't see this. And thank you for your support, VB. SpaceX is more important to Elon than Tesla. If you don't understand that, you don't understand Elon. SpaceX is more important. Neuralink might be more important. XAI might be more important. X might be more important. He's got a lot of babies. And if the baby says, I don't want you, he might let the baby go. Is there a high probability that I think if the vote goes no, Elon leaves. I think it's a very high probability that the vote goes no, that Elon leaves the company. If Elon's talk during the next earnings call makes the stock price increase well between now and June, Elon's compensation vote will be secured. There's no guarantee of that. If institutional shareholders services tells the funds to vote no, and half the retail vote is no, then he's out. If the vote is no, the stock will recover in time. Elon has established this track. There's all these people who have this faith that Elon's staying. If you send a message to Elon, we don't think you should be compensated. We made an agreement as shareholders with you 6 years ago that this is how you'd be compensated. If you then say, go fuck yourself to Elon, why would he stay? The layoffs were brutal to some Tesla employees. When are layoffs not brutal? First of all, brutal. Was anybody injured? Did anyone actually bleed? Any Tesla employee is going to go find another job quickly. I don't know is it 45% of SpaceX? What do I think the range of economic robotaxi opportunities that will be for current Model Y owners? I think that when the robotaxi network starts, Tesla will incentivize anyone who owns a Tesla, whether you paid for FSD or not, to put your vehicle on the robotaxi network so that the robotaxi network has enough vehicles to make it run. The Chinese e-vehicles are already trying to make sub $25,000. They already make those sub $25,000 vehicles. They're not trying to make them. They're already making them. Um, they're not as good as a Model 3. They're not comparable cars. I'm in Thailand. I see them. They're on the road here. Chang'an Motors, um, or the Aura Good Cat is here in Thailand. There's the Neta, I think it is, NETA. Do you think Tesla should start offering low financing rates for their new car purchases? No. I think Tesla should do what they're doing and recognize that any game you play increases your cost of selling cars and affects your margins, and you don't really, it's like do you think Tesla should play financial games? No, I don't think Tesla should be a financial engineering company. I think Tesla should be an engineering company. Um, if the vote goes against Elon, Elon will never take a company public and will be too picky about investors. Sad for investors. I think that Starlink will IPO. Starlink will IPO, 100%. But Starlink is not, that's just a money printing operation, basically. If Elon leaves, Tesla is screwed. Yes, exactly. If the 2018 compensation package revote fails, and I think an appeal in Delaware appeals court may fail as well, I don't think the two are connected. I don't think that is connected at all. I don't think the appeals court doesn't make a decision based on what happens outside of the contents of the litigation that happened. Will the Robotaxi have a provision to be controlled by a joystick for manual interventions? I don't think so. I love that idea, but I don't think so. I'm okay with a Tim Cook type being the next CEO of Tesla. Who's that? Who is that Tim Cook type? Who is that person? Need a wife, not a girlfriend. Well, hopefully she'll become a wife at some point. The concept of employee at will relative to Tesla layoffs. I think that people don't understand the realities of economic life. Do you think the 4680 power and range improvements worked out as they pitched in Battery Day? I think it's a little slower than we wanted, but Tesla turns the impossible into late. Yes, the shareholders approved the vote last time. There's no guarantee they're going to do it again. Can international outside U.S. shareholders vote? I don't know the answer to that question, VB. Talk to your brokerage. I believe you should be able to vote, but I don't know how that works. All right, I've been going for quite a while now, so I'm going to wrap up. I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank Mark and Mark for managing the chat. Really appreciate you guys for your support. T-shirts and other merch at elonbits.com. Please follow me on the X platform, WR4NYGOV. And please vote yes on the compensation package. Unless you want Tesla to become an ordinary company with a $100 billion market cap, selling cars and doing nothing exciting. That's where we're heading. Thanks, everybody. Vote yes. Bye-bye.